everybody. Welcome to Trailer Punk Podcast. My name is Justin Hamline, and today I have the honor of having Amulet, which is Stephanie and MJ Phoenix. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on my podcast. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, is there anything you want to promote? You got some shows coming up. Obviously, your Purification Remix EP. Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, we just dropped in November Purification, which is remixes from our album Catharsis, which came out in 2024.
Mhm.
So we have actually several songs on there that are brand new versions. And I'm not going to call them remixes, honestly. They're really different versions. So it's pretty cool to see that. It's like gives you another chance to put your songs out again. So and we also have some remixes on there from our friends at Interface and Tragic Impulse.
Yes, and Synthetic Dream Fan.
Synthetic Dream Foundation. Yes, that's the long name that I have trouble remembering. But it's a very cool remix. So that, and yes, we do have a couple of shows. We're trying to get 2026 together. But we have a Hometone show here in DC at March 13th at the Pie Shop. And that's going to be awesome with Dead Cool and Hazel from Hazel's from Alice and from 2D Cat. So that's going to be fun. And then we're going to be playing at Dark Force Fest. So
Oh my gosh, yes, that's right. That's exciting. Are you guys really excited about this? Is that your first one, or have you done one before?
We have played there before at their pre-party, but this is the first time on the big stage. So
First time in the castle.
yes,
Wonderful.
They let us into the castle
they
finally.
did.
They finally letting it's such an exciting event. I'm really excited to see those type of festivals coming around and kind of making because talking with a lot of artists, I noticed that I'm starting to see a lot of goth and industrial groups. It's kind of peaking, and it's just like it's exciting to see everybody kind of get out there and tour again and play a lot of these festivals. And is there any artists you're excited about sharing the stage with at Force Fest?
Oh man.
Well, Unit Code Machine.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, all of them are epic, but he is actually one of our buddies and someone who's helped us out a lot.
Yeah, it's just nice to see him
Yeah.
on stage there. I feel like Eric's music is, in terms of the number of streams he gets on Spotify, it's underappreciated because he's really good.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to see him playing at Dark Force Fest, and it'll be a good chance for us to catch up. He played an important part in Amulet's sort of development, a small but important part, shall we say.
Yes.
How so, if you don't mind me asking?
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, he introduced us to Chris Hall, who's producing our next album.
Yes.
And Chris is amazing. He's a brilliant musician and producer. So, it was lucky. What happened? There was Stabbing Westward was playing a show, and then there was
Waves.
there was a bomb threat, and they all had to leave the building. And then Eric found himself next to Chris in the alleyway and asked him if he'd do a remix, and he did one. And then somehow Stephanie managed to wheedle her way into this relationship, and then is that about right?
Well, that made me sound very conniving, but yeah, sort of.
Not in a bad way.
Oh,
But you did well.
we were looking for remixes as well at the time for our first remix.
Well, Eric did our first remix, right? So
Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but that's
No,
fine.
you're fine. Well, I was like, yay, a thumbs up. Here we go. No, that's fine.
Yay. Yeah, we were looking for remixes at the time. So, yeah, Eric did do one, and then I was like, how about we ask Chris Hall? And he was like, okay, yeah, I'd love to do one. So he did,
Oh, great.
and that song has taken off and been its own entity now.
it's its own institution.
That's Last Ditch. So,
Yeah.
Great.
yeah.
Is there any dream musicians or producers that you would love to collaborate with?
Man, oh geez, I don't know. I always want to say Trent Reznor.
Of course, I think Trent Reznor is always or Ogre.
Yeah.
It's Trent or Ogre. There's always that top shelf, but then it's like, okay, now let's be a little bit more realistic
Right.
here. Like, who can I really get?
I don't know. I mean, I would put Chris at
Chris
the
is
at
so
the at the
good.
top. I'd
He
rather
really
work with
is.
Chris than anybody because he is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So
Truly
true. I
underrated,
never
I think.
appreciated like
Yeah.
how good of a producer he is. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
So
So
we're
I
lucky.
wouldn't want to you know suggest that we could find somebody who'd be better than him, because I can't imagine
It's hard to
it being
imagine.
done any better than the work he
Yeah.
does. I mean, we've worked with lots of people. Dan Milligan is
Mhm.
absolutely brilliant as well. Um, and we did the whole Catharsis album with Dan. He's just great.
Yeah.
Um, so both of those people, I don't know, we've just been super lucky with the people we've worked with, and we've had great remixes as well. I'll have to think about if there's anybody else. I think we're pretty happy with our band lineup and our people we're working with on production at the moment.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Feels
Um,
good, man.
it does. We got to a good place.
Yeah, I think so. And it seems like you guys are really like in this perfect spot right now where you truly feel like you found your sound and you found your mold. And I think I'm really happy to see where this is all going, and just, it's really looking great for you guys. So I'm really excited to see what happens in the future with you and this
Yeah,
new
so are we.
upcoming album.
Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, it's interesting you say we found our sound, because it's true,
Hmm.
but we do have this sort of bifurcated sound a little bit, in the sense that it's goth industrial,
Yeah.
right? So we do a bit of both, and trying to integrate those as one sound is like, is that what we should do? Or should we recognize that we actually do a bit of both and that's fine? Should we go one way or the other? I mean, Chris has a particular sound that he goes for.
Yes.
Stephanie's gotten this girl industrial vibe going,
Hmm.
which I think hits very well with the work that Chris is doing and some of the remixes that I've done,
Yeah.
and some of the tracks I've done. But I also have this kind of gothy side, and which kind of tends towards synth pop.
Hmm.
Um, so we, at the moment, we're kind of covering this gamut between sort of synth pop, goth rock, and industrial. And maybe you can tell us whether you think those can they cohabit in the same space?
They seem to be, and I think we're kind of at a time where genres are kind of pulling together. Where I've been seeing even punk rock and hip hop come together. At a time when I noticed that the '90s were kind of coming together with sounds in a very odd way, even with certain soundtracks like Spawn soundtrack or Judgment Night, where you getting one extreme, you get in hip hop, and then you get hardcore artists, or you get industrial artists with DJs and stuff. So I think there was that time where it was seemed like, what is this going on? But now I feel like we're kind of in a time where people are just kind of going, I like that, let me use that, I like that, let me use that. And I'm not in this term of sampling, but you're just pulling all influences and genres and taking everything and kind of gobbling it up and figuring out how you can filter out of your brain and into an album. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think you described it fairly well.
I think that's
Yes.
great. And I
Very
really
good.
see that with your guys' music. Like, I absolutely love it. And it's
Oh,
kind of been my soundtrack, kind of working on this podcast. And it's, it's easy to just jump back in and keep listening to it. I really love it. So I think
That's
you guys
great.
are doing an
Thanks.
amazing job. So
thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Yay. We're still
Um,
working on it, so you're
no,
gonna
you're
like
doing
the next
great.
album.
Yeah. And even just with the Purification EP, like, I think that's a good like introduction, because that's kind of where I was like, where do I start? And I kind of jumped there, and then I kind of worked my way back, and I was kind of going through Catharsis and kind of checking out the remixes and just kind of bouncing back and forth and going, oh, I like the way they did that, or I like the way they did that there. And it's so neat, and you guys are extremely creative. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thanks. That's really great.
Is there anything that in the process of working on a new album, is there any information you want to divulge on influences, or songwriting process? Is there anything you want to give your fans a moment of like, oh, I can't wait to hear that? Do you guys got any bit of information, or are you still kind of in the process of kind of stirring the pot a little bit?
Well, this one was really, really interesting because they are actually songs that were supposed to be on Catharsis,
Hmm.
but Catharsis had gotten to be very, very
It
long.
was already a monster.
It was huge, and so we sat with Dan Milligan. He's like, "You guys," like he tried so hard to not tell us to not do that, but I was
Right.
like, "Okay, fine." Okay, fine.
It was too
We're
much.
gonna cut them.
It was too much.
So we
Sure.
kind of found like that a thread that tied them together, which is vampires. So that's the theme of it.
That's
And so they're kind of older songs that we actually wrote in 2022.
hmm
Um, However, now working with Chris, I'm trying to have more of a, in between goth industrial, girl industrial sound. It has been a very interesting process trying to go from that rock sound to this new sound.
yeah.
So it has been a process, and it sounds amazing. But damn, I would not recommend digging up your old songs and changing them completely.
Yes.
Like,
I'm glad we did, actually.
we did, but
I'm
man,
glad we did.
tough. It was tough. I feel bad
Yeah.
for Chris, honestly.
Well, yeah. I mean, some of the stems were kind of a mess,
Yeah, it was a lot.
and we had to redo a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But I'm relatively new to the whole kind of goth scene, and so for me, the whole idea of this vampire thing is kind of new. But
hmm
maybe everybody in the scene, it might feel old. I don't know,
We
but
all love them still.
um,
It's
the
okay.
ironic thing was vampire. I came up with Vampire, which was a song off the first album. We've reimagined it completely for this.
Yeah.
During COVID, I was shopping in Lidl, the supermarket, a lot, and they always used to have some music on in the background, but it was so quiet you couldn't really hear exactly what it was. And so I'd always walk around and be like, have some lyrics floating around in my head. And then there was this box, the cereal section was Count Chocula, and so I see this Count Chocula box, and somehow it's like triggers this vampire thing, and then whatever was music was going on must have been in A, because that's where we wound up. And I'm humming around, and then by the time I got my groceries together, I've got the hook is
Yeah.
already kind of emerged. And I'm like, damn, no, don't forget this, right? Like
Right. I get
record
that.
something quickly,
Yeah. Go up to
record
your
some
phone and write
horrible,
it down. Yep. I bet.
yeah,
Yeah.
write it down and like remember the melody because you're gonna forget it. And
Oh yeah.
then I got back, and then so with Vampire, because I'm not really a guitarist, and particularly then when we we're doing the first album, I could barely play guitar because I'm a
Mhm.
bass player. But we didn't really have a guitarist. So I had to learn to play guitar to do all the guitar work. Um, and I really only knew a few chords. And I always loved the chord A minor.
Oh yeah.
It's just like an easy, beautiful chord.
Easy go to for
So I
sure.
started playing A minor, and then you slide it up with the same pattern of D minor. I'm going between the two and picking it, and then it just sort of fell together as this, down, 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 down,
Yep.
down, 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 and then that became like the center of the song, and then it goes into a more rock feel, and that's how it evolved. That song, it was based on Count Chocula. It wasn't some like
Yeah.
amazing kind of authentic vampire history that we have. It just sort of appeared in Lidl, the grocery store. But then later on, we had this idea. Well, I don't know where it came from, but I had this idea, and probably this is an old story that's been retold many times as well. But um, the person narrating, Stephanie, it's all about Stephanie, of course, um, has a dream in which she finds this book which has a spell in it.
Oh, this is a new song on the new album.
Okay.
That's what you're
Well,
talking
yeah,
about.
but vampire is the
Yes.
like the centerpiece of the new album. It's re-envisioned,
Yes.
but the darkness is the other song, which explains it's the fulcrum of the story,
hmm
Yeah.
in which she finds this book in her dream, which contains a spell, which of course she ends up reading because that's what you always do in horror movies. Oh, we better split up. You know, oh,
Read the
look,
Latin spell.
Yeah. You
read the
read the
Latin
Latin. Everybody
spell,
wants to read the
the
Latin.
cabin in the woods,
Yep.
make
Yep.
sure you read the spell. Uh, so she reads the spell, and of course this leads to, you know, outcomes,
Yeah.
which maybe you would not have wanted to happen.
Sure.
Who's to say?
But then the whole thing wraps up with there's a sting in the tail, the last song. If you understand the lyrics, it flips the entire script of the rest of the album on its head.
Oh
But
wow.
Yeah.
it's a story, and it's really exploring human fear
Yeah.
in different ways through a sort of an easy to connect with concept.
hmm
Um, and all those songs stuck. They held together as a group and that's why the other reason they shouldn't be on Catharsis is because they have a narrative, a story arc through the entire, and it's only 7 songs, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
Through the 7 songs, it's got a story arc.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah. That album is called The Dark.
the Dark
So
coming
this year.
to like a club, something
Coming
coming
to
to
something
something
near
near
you.
you
Right.
this year.
Get
Yes.
holler all the DJs. Let them all know what's coming to the club
Oh, they're
scene
gonna like it.
very soon. That's all.
By
Very
us,
good.
mostly done by Chris Hall. And in fact, on this album, on Catharsis, I did the vast majority of the music. So I
Okay.
played almost all the guitar, almost all the live bass, all the keys. Dan did all the drums. I did a little tiny fraction of drums, but he did almost all the drums. On The Dark, I literally did a couple of tiny bits of guitar here and there. Chris did almost everything in the music, but we wrote the material.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how it went.
Yeah.
What
It's
was
been interesting.
what was your because you said, goth and industrial is kind of a new thing for you. What were you doing before all of that? Before
For
you
me,
met with Stephanie? Yeah. Hmm.
oh, well, I've been in and around bands forever.
Hmm.
I started playing bass when I was probably 11 or something like that. I actually started playing guitar before I started playing bass, but I couldn't deal with it. Um, and I felt like bass was going to be easier because it's got fewer strings, although that's not really entirely true, but it's kind of true. Um, so I started playing bass when I was really young. I was around bands and in bands for most of my life off and on. Um,
In Liverpool in the 80s. That's
well,
important.
That was a big time.
Yeah.
You.
yeah, although I wasn't really in bands until I moved to Norwich.
Okay.
So I lived in East Anglia. I went to university there, and I was in bands and promoting bands and around bands all that time. I was in a couple of different bands there. Um, Then after I moved to the States, I was in a band in Charlottesville called The Secret, which was a pretty fun, crazy band. It was all original material, but it's kind of eclectic. We had a brass section, and it's kind of a big outfit.
Was it like a post punk type thing?
No, not really. I mean, if you had to pick one thing, it was more like funk,
Oh, really?
honestly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, it was very eclectic. We did a lot of, we did some go-go stuff. We did
Wow.
like more jazz rock stuff. It was all, it was a lot all over the map
Cool.
musically, but the brass section was really good. And it was really a fun band to be in. So I just got like a very kind of eclectic type of band background. And after I moved to DC, I was in a couple of other bands, but they never really kind of coalesced into anything except for we were in a band together, which is sort of how we this all came about. We were in a cover band for like over 10 years,
Wow.
playing all kinds of, regular cover band stuff from Stevie Wonder to B-52s and all
Sure.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it just ran its course and I couldn't do that anymore.
No.
Did
So
COVID have a big part in you guys coming together and working on material together?
Yeah,
yes.
it did. I think basically what happened was, if I'm remembering correctly, we had a rehearsal with that band, and I was just at the end of my tether with that outfit. Great folks, but I just didn't want to do it any longer.
Hmm.
And I remember at the end of that rehearsal, everybody else had left, and I think it was you, me, and Gavin were still there. And I said, "Look, I'm done, but I'm going to write an album,
Right.
and I'm going to go in that direction, and maybe the two of you would want to do something on that." And I don't think it would have happened if it hadn't been for COVID. But when COVID started, I had time to work on it. So I started working on the album. Stephanie was living in Texas. Gavin was doing his thing. Gavin was gonna play guitar for us, and he did a bit of stuff, but he was kind of going his own direction. And in the end, we figured out that really Stephanie and I were more on the same wavelength musically.
Hmm.
And Gavin, we both did a bit of stuff with Gavin, but it pretty quickly figured out that where we were going was we would be able to work with each other
Yeah, I think
much
we
better.
like. Oh, wait a minute. What is this doing? Okay, sorry.
No, you're
Technical
fine.
issue.
I just want to make sure there was
Um,
no issues with mine. So.
I think we're good. I think I said something like you were doing something that was kind of heavier. And I was like, that's for when we do our side project. And I was like, wait. That should be a thing that
Should
we
be it,
do.
right?
Maybe the side project
Yes,
is the project.
that it became the
So the
project.
side project became the project.
Yes.
Right. I've
Um,
always had that
yeah,
situation where it's like I'll just set this aside for something, and then just eventually it's like, well, that's it now. I am now that. So yeah.
Yep. That's
yeah.
happened.
So we were learning what we were doing. I was kind of flailing around a lot with recording music and not really knowing exactly what I was up to, but we figured out enough to do the first album, and there's a few things on the first album I wish I could go back and redo, like on the technical side. Some of the guitar solos, the tones are just like, oh, drive me nuts because
Hmm.
I've figured out how to do that much better now. But
Right.
still, it was a thing in time.
Well, we're doing vampire again.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
and Vampire's still alive after all these years.
yes.
And is I we're just trying to figure out how to play that live now because we're going to put that in a live set from the new version. I've just been actually working on it before we got on with you, how the bass line's going to go, the electric bass line
Yeah.
to accompany. When you're playing with a track and when you're playing with stuff that somebody else has put together, you have to thread your part in there so it works.
Yeah.
Because the track's not going to do anything. It's like it has no conscience, it has no flexibility.
Yep.
It's like arguing with a tree, you know.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so you have to thread what you're doing in with and make it work with that. So, it's interesting. It's different. So, yeah, just working on making sure that bass can be interesting. Sometimes it's a lead instrument. Sometimes you really don't want to notice it. You just want to feel it. So, trying to like make those things kind of work together at the moment. But we've got two tracks off the Dark, which we're going to be performing on the both of these next two shows, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
I Am the Dark and Vampire.
Yep.
I Am the Dark's really good.
Yes. I love that
They're
song.
actually all good.
They're
But
all good.
yeah.
Um, Stephanie, since MJ gave a little bit more of a backstory, is there anything that you want to kind of put in as your backstory before you guys came together for Amulet, and then from there we'll kind of push in through the Amulet's history and story and everything like that. What's your backstory?
Well,
I mean, you
yeah,
can cover as whatever you need to. So,
I was in the cover band with
mhm.
him, and I just, I wasn't a musician or anything. I grew up in a musical household, but I was just, I don't know, I was a little shit, so I didn't ever practice, and I couldn't be bothered to
Yeah.
learn anything. So, I could sing, I don't know, I did karaoke or whatever. I did our karaoke at work, that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So it was like, okay, I guess I can sing because it was for a work band, and
Oh
you got to
wow.
do that. If the boss asks you to sing, then you sing.
Yep.
So I did.
Yep. Of course.
Turned out she could sing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Incredibly
could
too. Yeah.
sing. Thank you.
Mhm.
So I kind of just like was I was just following along with what everybody was doing, and he wanted to form a band, and I was like, "Well, okay, sure, man, that's
Sure.
cool." And he really liked when I was like that, easygoing and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's created a monster now. He wants my opinions and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Now it's like, oh shit.
Yes,
Now I'm a front person. Like I gotta be up in front of everybody. So, oh shit. Now I actually
yes,
gotta put in some like, I gotta have lyrics written. I gotta now put in, my input, and I can understand how much of a struggle that is. Or if it's like you got a whole band, it's like, okay, I can kind of take, but now it's like, nope, you're in charge now. So,
yeah, it's kind of trippy because like I never cared before. Like I
mhm.
did karaoke all the time. I literally ran karaoke. So, but now it feels weird to sing songs that are not mine. It
Right.
feels like somebody else's underwear or something. And like
I
not
love
that I
that.
would know what that feels like, but I imagine that's what it would
As
feel
long as you
like.
don't have to eat it.
No, no. No, that's not what, no. So like now I'm like, no, I must be deeply involved emotionally with all of our lyrics, which drives him crazy, but I have to have it. It feels like 100% authentic to me when I'm singing if I can connect to my lyrics. So now that's what we're doing. We're learning how to write together even after all these years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be an ongoing thing.
It will, but
Yeah.
my background is not really musical. I can just like technically sing for some reason, but
Sure.
I don't know why. So that's what I do. And I'm
Yeah.
learning music as we go along.
Right.
So,
Yeah. The
yeah.
the thing about our band is that the two of us write the songs. And as Stephanie said, the ebb and flow of who writes what has shifted a bit over time.
Mhm.
But the core of the band is how the two of us relate to each other creatively in developing lyrics and music.
Sure.
That's the main thing. Um, then the next important thing is the musicians we play with in the live band, Bob and Steve, who are freaking awesome. And I want to give them a shout out. We
Absolutely.
finally got to like a really good lineup of people who are just competent with their instruments, reliable, easy to get along with, all the things you want from people that you work with. Um, they can play, they're on board. It's great. We've really got a great band now. We didn't always, I mean, not that previous people we played with weren't great, it just wasn't the right chemistry for us. We finally got the right chemistry, and then Chris working on the production and also with Dan, that's basically what this band is about. That's the kind of the fulcrum around which it turns. Those are the elements. And also Stephanie's style, graphic and marketing sense. That's what she does for a job,
Yeah.
day
Yes.
job.
Mm.
And I think that sort of puts the icing on the whole thing. But that's basically what the band is in its essence. When you say those elements of the main thing,
Yes, for sure.
and a live performance. I mean,
Yeah.
having a good live show. And increasingly in this day and age, actually being musicians and actually writing our own music and playing instruments and recording those instruments on our own tracks and playing guitar and playing live bass and playing keyboards, those types of things, that's important to us.
Of course. No, that makes
Yeah.
sense. And do you think like a lot I mean just the process of Amulet is you trying to get comfortable with those instruments and get comfortable with writing lyrics and even just getting into a vulnerable space where you can go, I'm okay with putting this out there in the world.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
It
That definitely happens.
it really was to start with. The
Yeah.
first album, I just didn't want to. My main goal was just to not suck. Um,
I think that's all of our
Check.
but I feel like we accomplished that. By the time we were doing Catharsis, I was more comfortable. And it's a really weird thing when you have an idea for a song and you share it with somebody else. It's like feel like a real dork
Mm,
saying, like whatever the lyric is, and then hope they don't like ridicule you.
right.
Oh.
I always feel sorry for these people who write TV commercials and have to play it out on the piano and going doop de doop de doop. It's like, oh, poor
Jingles.
people. They have everybody listening to them. But no matter what it is, there's always like that thing where you kind of have to express the thing to another person and hope that they don't like totally humiliate you. But after we've done it for a bit, I don't care anymore. Like if it's a bad idea, fine, and just like get rid of it, and we'll move on to some other good idea. That's one of the differences between us is like I'm like a massive overproducer of
Mm,
stuff, right? Uh, the way I write music, I jam. So like if I start with a song, whether it's a bass line or whether it's a synth thing, whatever, then I'll play some guitar over it and I'll just explore its dimensions
yeah.
wherever you're going with it. I'll play a lead guitar part. I'll spend hours on the lead guitar part, and I'll go, "This song doesn't need a freaking lead guitar part," and just like off you go,
Sure.
bye, and I don't worry about it.
Yes.
Stephanie, I think she creates something, and she's has a tougher time jettisoning whatever it is because she's more emotionally attached
They're
to
my
that
children.
that element.
I
Mhm.
can't just throw my children away.
Right.
So you better not let me get attached.
But I I'm constantly producing and throwing stuff away,
Right.
and she doesn't do that. So this is another one of the things that it's like different approaches. I'll do all kinds of stuff, and I don't care. You have to explore those avenues, um, and you'll find it leads somewhere good eventually, or not.
We're gonna need to write a book about this.
Yeah,
Therapy for musicians.
right. But I think this idea, for me at least, this idea of real-time exploration of musical ideas works better. And for lyrics, I'll be like, "Nah, bah, 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 bah." It's like, you know, that thing where you must have seen in movies, it was probably in Terminator or something, but they plug something into the ATM machine and it's got little, you know, digit counters and it'll all be spinning and like one will come up and it'll go seven and the other ones are spinning and then one will come up six. And, you know, it's like, so one thing locks
Yep.
and then everything else is still spinning and then each of those things keeps locking. So for me, I'll get a word that will lock. And
Mm.
then after that, like, what's the next word that'll go in that locks with the first word
Wow.
conceptually? And then eventually, you know, then you're down to the last word. But by the time you get to the last word, it's got to be a slant rhyme with the third word, and it can only have two syllables. And it sort of starts to get more difficult to fit that last piece together. But it's sort of, but I'll just throw words at it. It's like, you know, firing darts at the wall until one goes in. Stephanie will do it a completely different way. She'll sit down very thoughtfully, write a narrative that she wants to convey, which is something she feels, and then we have to fit that to 4/4 time. So, or you know, or 6/8 time, but
Sure.
mostly 4/4
Four
time.
My
four.
one
Yeah.
song that I wrote was 6/8. Yeah.
Yeah, she completely came up with a song like had nothing to do with the music. Well, in the end, I did, but to start with, she comes with this whole thing, and it's in 6/8.
Oh
Yeah, that
wow.
was only me.
Yeah, it's an epic
All
tune.
syncopated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did the bones on that one. That's got the
Yeah.
like the
Bones.
percussion is done with the bones
Hmm.
Like real
clanking.
bones, or is it sampled
Yep.
bones? Like
Yeah,
in.
real
Real
bones,
band.
Oh,
not
I
human
love.
bones, unless, I mean,
Unless.
we didn't ask them what species of
Sure.
animal the bone came from, but I'm presuming not human because that would have been a problem for them.
Probably. Yeah.
They'll,
But I
they'll
think, you know, whatever bone, it still makes pretty
right.
much the same sound. So,
You'll have to add him as a guest onto the credits. Like, thanks
Yeah.
for the bones of Murray or whatever.
yeah.
Stephanie, let's get in because you have a YouTube channel, if you don't mind me promoting, and you're a blogger, which I found very fascinating because I don't watch a lot of bloggers, but when it comes to musicians, I think there's a distinction with it. Um, what came first? Was it making music or wanting to talk about music publicly?
Definitely making music
Hmm.
came first. And like I said, I didn't really know anything about it at all. My contributions were I could sing,
Hmm.
and I had a lot of knowledge about fashion and the goth scene and graphic design,
Oh,
that
wow.
kind of thing,
Hmm.
marketing. So I was like, I guess I should just, start a YouTube channel because I can do some of my own content and then tie it back into the band. And I haven't done as much on YouTube as I would like to, but that's kind of why I started it. And I also just found myself saying, man, I should say some things because I'm just talking to myself all the time. And I'm like, hey, someone else needs to hear this. And
I
so
wish I can find that comfort level where
I
I
do
feel like.
not tune you out. I'm not tuning you out. I don't want people
I
to think
didn't
that.
say that per se, but
Yep,
So, so
that's
that's kind of how it started, and I'm still kind of debating on what kind of content I want to make because I'm just really busy with the band, really.
yeah.
And doing the vlogs is fun when we get to go to festivals or do a tour or whatever.
Yeah, those have been
Um,
good.
yeah,
Those are always fun to
so
do.
I try and do that when we can do that. But I do need to do some more like sit down talking head stuff because it's fun to do. I need to have time to do it. But it's fun. So now I'm kind of just doing short form content for like my outfits of the day or whatever.
That's cool.
It's easy stuff to do to connect to people. And it doesn't take hours and hours of time.
Right.
So
How did
yeah.
you come up with the name Amulet?
Um, man, I
It
think
was your idea.
yeah, I've always wanted to like have the name Amulet because I thought maybe I would be a DJ or something.
Oh wow.
Like, and that didn't happen really. And I said it to you, and you're like, meh, I don't know. And then I was like, it's gonna be that.
Yeah.
I just trust me.
Well, here's the thing. At that point, I was writing most of the music, and you were kindly going along with it.
Yes.
And I was desperately trying to retrofit my musical concept to what I thought would suit Stephanie stylistically.
Mhm.
Um, because like my musical background is sort of all over the map, and so I'm like, I have to pick a thread here that's going to work for her. And so sh I don't think I quite got it the first time. We're doing better now, but
You didn't know me very well yet.
yeah. But you were very gracious about like working with me on that, and I just felt like, I wasn't totally over the moon with the name, but name it's a one word name. That's good because it's hard to find a one word name.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought you should have the name.
Oh, that's nice.
So
I
we
didn't
did.
know that.
And then like 20 other bands decided to call themselves Amulet right
Yes.
after it.
There were a couple of other amulets that weren't like in, they weren't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And one of them was out of the country that was the closest one. And I was like, this is not a big deal. People do this all the time.
Right.
But
Yeah.
now there's tons of amulets here and it's causing us a lot of trouble
Oh
online.
my
Well,
God.
I think there was a Norwegian punk band from the
Yeah.
90s
Hmm.
called Amulet
Yeah.
that I think it has run its course as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
And us, and then yeah, they popped up from all over the place.
Yep.
But
So,
oh well.
yeah,
We're not the only band that's got other bands with the same name. I know
happens a lot.
on our label Distortion, which we should have given a shout out to Jim
Yes.
Simonic already, um, who's also another important part of this whole enterprise. Um, Interface, which did a remix for us. Apparently, there's even more interfaces than there are amulets. So,
Yes.
oh well.
I
Do you?
think that it fits us.
Right. I
Yeah.
think so too. And do you guys think that living in certain regions really helped shape you musically and lyrically? Because I mean, obviously you grew up in like Liverpool area and then you shifted yourself to the States and everything. Do you think region does have an impact on writing music or writing lyrics?
It probably does. I think there were bands that were big in Britain that weren't as big in the States, and vice versa. Um, I've lived long enough and been through enough music and different sort of phases that I don't know if it's the geography so much. I think more about decade by decade. And I think there's still some degree to which you get caught in the decade of music, maybe your late teens to mid 20s.
Mhm.
Seems to be when people discover music, and there's something about the music you first discover that always sticks with you.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of grew up with David Bowie and Pink Floyd and all those kind of bands. But then I went through like, then I learned about dancing, and if I went dancing, maybe I'd meet girls, so that seemed good. And
That's what I
learned
thought a
about
band would do, but no, not for me.
learned about dance music, and then got into. I had a big reggae phase. Used to go to a lot of London clubs to see reggae bands for a while, and then started getting into Grace Jones, which was kind of the intersect between reggae and funk, and then got into a lot of what was called electro funk at the time, bands like Lime, and there was a song called Supernature, and then there's also what's the name of the band? Woodwork Squeaks Out Come the Freaks. You must probably know the band,
um,
um,
the
but viewers will
freaks come
probably
out at
know it.
night. Um,
It's Was Not Was.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they were. That was interesting. That was a band that I think was bigger in Britain
yeah.
than in the States, and it was a American band. And then after that, it was just like, all bets are off. It's anything that I like. Um, I think you've been more consistently in a particular musical zone than I have, I
Um,
think.
yeah, I guess so, but I don't know if that has to do with a region at all. Not for me. I don't think, because everybody who's my age liked Nine Inch Nails at the time, so
Oh yeah,
it's
for sure.
nothing special.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always just been in the goth industrial stuff. I've liked other things adjacent to it, but that's basically what I've always been into. And I mostly just listen to industrial at this point. I was just saying that, like, my brain doesn't want to hear any new rock music right now.
Mhm.
Well, ours is okay, but anybody else, I'm like, I just can't. I don't want to hear it right now. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear industrial. For some reason, my
Yeah.
brain just doesn't want it.
I mean, in this scene, Germany is a big source of a lot of
Yeah.
good bands. it's sort of interesting, the transatlantic effect. When the police got started, I think one of the first things they did was they came over and toured in the States,
Yeah.
and they went back to, and with modest success, I think, and they went back to the UK and said, "Hey, we're big in America," and everybody's, "Wow, they're big in America. Okay, they must be good. Let's listen to those guys."
It's
Yeah.
the power of marketing.
Yeah, it's sort of like when Napoleon invaded Africa and got his ass kicked in every country and went back to France and said, "I won," and everybody's like, "Oh, he won. That's great."
Yes, that's how
Yeah,
it works.
yeah,
Say
and
whatever you want.
and I think Elton John was kind of the other way around, right? He was playing in a pub in Watford or something like that in England, and showed up in, was it New York or LA? And he just became a kind of overnight sensation in the States, and that fame reflected back into Britain eventually. But I think he kind of had his big break more on this side of the Atlantic. So it's interesting, but the source of pop music was the United States and Britain to some large degree, but I think that's now changed as well, and particularly in this scene, I think Germany is super important, but there are other countries as well.
Germany is our second biggest place where people like us. So,
Yeah.
Have you guys gone to Germany yet, or are you hoping to?
not yet.
No,
No, I keep saying we need to go.
we Stephanie speaks some German, and we have some German lyrics in at least one of our songs, the Bauhaus, which
Yeah.
we wrote about the Bauhaus School of Art, because we always thought, the Bauhaus band was named after the Bauhaus School of Art, but the Bauhaus School of Art itself didn't get much attention
No.
from the scene, and it was very influential. And it was sort of broken up by the Nazis, but the idea of measuring things so that design is useful, like the height of a seat or the height of a door or the width of a door, all of these things sort of came out of the Bauhaus,
Yeah.
and all it's so instrumental to a lot of the design of the world, the way the human environment is, was defined a lot by that. But I mean, the Bauhaus, the band, is great, but it didn't really reference much about the School of Art and so that song was about that.
Hmm.
um I've been to Germany, but not musically. My German's not as good as Stephanie. So when I went there, we were in a bus, and there were signs to this place called Ausfahrt,
Yeah.
and I thought it sounds like a funny name, but we kept going past, and I thought, are we going in a big circle here around Ausfahrt? And then I realized that this meant exit.
Yep. 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 What made you learn German, Stephanie?
Yeah, I actually don't really speak German. Like, I'm one of those who say, "Oh, that's probably what that means" when I'm reading it,
Yeah.
like that level. Basically, I did Duolingo during the entirety of
Oh, okay,
COVID.
cool. Yeah.
So, and I listened to a lot of industrial, so I was like, I should
Rammstein.
probably just, you know,
Yeah.
at least know a few words. Yes, I know what
That's awesome.
Tons means.
Yep.
So that, we need to say dance in German.
Um,
Dance. We
Dance.
can say that.
it sounds so much cooler
Yes.
It does. I don't
immediately.
know.
Except for the word dark, dunkel. That sounds
Dunkel.
kind of dumb, but
Yeah, a little
that's
bit.
okay.
Yeah, I get that. Um, I'm gonna keep with Stephanie. Your vocals are often described as, mesmerizing and powerful. What's the weirdest place or situation where you've belted out a note that surprised even you?
Um, hmm. Oh, probably at karaoke.
There you
I
go.
mean, what's the weirdest karaoke I've sung? I don't know.
We went through a phase of doing a lot of karaoke.
Karaoke,
Okay.
so we've done a lot of shitty karaoke. But in a song,
Like any of your songs, or even like a moment on stage where it's like, whoa, shit, like almost like all the pieces kind of fell into place, and you go, I feel like I'm really like in my element.
uh, yeah, I know what you mean. Actually, probably when we've never actually done this actually live, but
Mhm.
Erase Me
I was thinking of that
is a
too.
very hard song for me to sing. I did it all in the studio in different takes, of course, so I'd never done everything live. And
Right.
then we practiced it, and I was like, holy shit, that was really hard to
Yeah.
do. But I did it, and then I was like, I'm gonna keep trying to do this better. So I did a on my YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel, I did like a rehearse with me with that song, and I was like, yes, I finally did it live. So that made me feel pretty good. But then we've never played it live because I'm too scared to do it.
We actually did it in a sound check once, I think.
Oh yeah, and then yeah, I ruined my voice. I
And we're like,
played it.
no, let's not play that. Let's not play that.
Yeah, I kind of pushed it a lot, but
It's a funny song.
yeah,
It's got a sort of metal chorus, and
yeah,
the verse, I don't even really know what the genre of the verse is quite, but
yeah,
it's like a metal. It's most that that'll be its main thing.
yes.
It's metalish.
I don't know. But what do you think? Do you know that song?
Which one?
Erase Me.
Erase Me.
That's on Catharsis. I'm always curious what people think about like what the music sounds
You
like.
know, I'll have to listen to it again and definitely
Yeah.
give you feedback. I not off the top of my head, but I'll definitely
It's
now that
got
you
Mhm.
big
mentioned it.
chorus vocals,
Yeah,
That's
there's a
awesome.
lot of that.
and it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Of course.
It sounds very like that sort of downward spiral element where it's got that, it's not an easy topic to talk about. You know what I mean? And when did you get to the point where you felt comfortable enough to start writing your own songs and lyrics and going, okay, now I can't let karaoke and cover bands be my shield. I now have to express myself out there. At what point did you go, this is it? And do you feel like you're still kind of working through that, almost like a therapeutic time?
Like catharsis.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess I first wrote two of the songs on our first album. The album is House of Black and White,
Hmm.
Last Ditch and Witchfinder, and I'd never written any songs, and I felt like that was kind of cool. I never had any inclination to write at all.
Right.
And those just came to me, and we made
Wow.
them into cool songs, and I liked them. And then you started to write the next album, Catharsis,
Hmm.
and you're like, okay, I'm writing the next album. You better get on board if you want to be involved here. And I was like, ah, shit, I'm not ready yet. So you started writing, and then I'm like, wait, no, this is wrong. I don't feel these things. So that's where it
That's good.
started. It's like,
No, that's great because you're like going, don't, I need to know that I'm in this. Do you know what I mean?
yes.
Yeah.
So, So Cold was the first song that he was writing, and uh, I think that I helped a little bit with that, but then we did Tear Me Apart, and that's when I started to write the lyrics. And a lot of those lyrics were really, I hope that certain people don't hear them.
Right.
Like, they
Right.
were real lyrics, for real.
The
Um,
whole album is full of real
yes.
lyrics. The only thing is, my experience with people with songs is that they tend to, and this is what I do anyway, is you tend to see it as a song. You don't really associate it with the feelings of the person singing it as much. You internalize it to yourself and
Hmm.
what it might mean to you more, if it means anything to you.
Right.
And so there's some kind of shield between you and exposing your emotions by releasing a song, because I just think that most people consume things in their own terms.
Of course.
Um, so I've never really been worried about that, because people can listen to the songs. If they really listen to them and they knew us, there's a whole thing there. But I don't think many people are going to do that. They might do after they hear this, but
Right. What do you want your fans to take away from your songs?
Well, I like connecting to people emotionally. That's why I've always liked Stabbing Westward a lot.
Oh yeah.
And Chris always has very emotional lyrics, but that doesn't mean I was emotionally connected to him.
Right.
But it was just like he was speaking with authenticity of emotion, which you can totally tell. I don't know how, but that is people can tell that. That's
Oh
why
yeah.
they're like obsessed with Taylor Swift or whatever. Like they know she's talking about her own emotions.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
but listening to Chris's songs, I don't immediately start thinking, "Oh, Chris has got some kind of emotional issues going on in his relationships." It doesn't never that it's a song.
Yeah. Of
uh,
course.
okay, I guess it's opinion, but I think that.
Okay, okay. I mean, I usually listen to a song, and if it's got something that I connect to, but half the time lyrics are hard to hear anyway in songs.
But that's the difference between maybe your generation and mine. Mine, we would sit down with the CD book and read every
Hmm.
lyric and,
Oh
like,
yeah,
listen to the album 400 times with the lyric book and go, "Oh my
No,
God, I felt that."
felt
I
it.
would sometimes do that, but like if you're listening to a Spotify playlist, you can't do that. It's just
Yeah,
No.
moving
it's
through too quickly. And
for sure.
I mean, what's the average percentage of lyrics in a song that on a first hearing a person is going to pick up on?
No, yeah.
I don't
Usually not that
You have to
many.
sense something is there.
Um,
But that's why we have several campy songs that you don't have to emotionally connect
Yeah, you got
to.
to have a hook, a hooky, type
Yeah,
chorus, type. Say, yeah, I get
just
that. Yeah.
fun stuff you play at the club. You don't have to like feel all down about it.
yeah,
So,
we tend to. It varies, but on average, I've written more hooks and Stephanie's written more verse lyrics. But
oh,
on that first album, the two songs that Steph wrote, Last Ditch, I've been writing all these songs, and then suddenly she sends me this thing. I can't, was it? I wish we'd kept that. I think it was a cappella, wasn't it?
yeah, I think so. I did on my phone.
This whole, like, completely figured out song, and it was ridiculous. I'm like, how did she do that?
Hmm.
And it was actually that was the easiest song to put music to. I mean, it just like immediately it was a few minutes
I love those
maximum,
moments.
and
Yeah.
it all came. It was like that.
It was magical.
Yeah.
Um, and then the second song, Witchfinder, you did was the complete opposite.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a tough
it
one.
was excruciating.
Oh man, I love that song though.
Um, for two different reasons because it's got two completely different phases. It's got phase, the rock phase, and it's got this kind of trippy phase with an accelerando, and we're trying to time out the accelerando, and I'm trying to play these lead guitar lines over it and get the bass and the drums lined up, and everything's got to be like right. And this day and age, with all of this quantizing and stuff, it'd be easier to do, but we had to play it all exactly. And yeah, and then I had all the bass line ideas. It was the most bass line ideas for any song. It was 51 different ideas.
Damn.
I got to version 51, and at the end of the day, I'm like, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, you have to. I get
It
that.
sounds so good now.
And
I
that
love that.
it was the easiest, least complicated one that ended up working.
That was my birthday gift.
That's awesome. That's and then
Yeah.
I've always noticed elements like that where it's like, if certain songs you feel like your best one is just the one where you go, "Huh," like just put it all out there. You already got everything. You're not trying to overcomplicate it, trying to add this, add that. And I have a problem with doing that sometimes where I go, well, I need that. And most of the time it's just like if you just go, I'm feeling it, put it out, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, is that kind of how it felt? Where it's like everything kind of just came in its own element.
That was with Last Ditch and Dance
Yeah.
Duality. We're both like that.
Yeah, duality. Yeah, it's a really weird thing with songs after they're kind of in your rear view mirror for a while,
Hmm.
and they actually forget how you came up with them, and they become their own living being that's sort of out there. It's not of you any longer. It's just out in the ether. Um, that's a weird thing, but it's really weird and it's really cool. It's one of the coolest things that I've ever experienced. Is like you imagine something out of your own head, completely out of your own head,
Hmm.
and make it, and then it turns into a thing, and then other people might actually like it.
Right.
Um, it's really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
amazing.
magical.
No, that's great. And is there a line that you've written that still hits you when you perform it live or listen back to it? Is there one line that went, "Fuck, I can't believe I wrote that"?
Oh
That's a
man,
really great question.
dang.
That sort of it kind of speaks to like what's your favorite song,
Yeah.
in a way. um
Yeah. Um, I actually, when we sing, When Winter Comes,
Mm.
that's really tough to sing. I don't really want to talk about that story very
let's
much,
not talk about
but
the
like
Oh, you don't have
it's
to. Of course
really
not. No.
emotional.
Yeah.
And when I sing I'm Coming Home at the end, it's really sad because I didn't go home. And I was like,
Mm.
that's the end of that.
Damn.
So
That's
fuck.
heavy.
Mm,
But you know,
that's
That's.
a great question.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Um, I'm just trying to think during the live show, what's the most fun to play and to
fun. Well, I love doing Dirty Hard Beats and TPE with you.
Oh
When
yeah.
we have duets, that's fun.
Yeah, but those are fun because I don't know. Um, just trying. I mean, the lyrics aren't exactly all that
No,
deep.
but they're the campy fun ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
keep it simple. I think that's kind of the you go back to that where it's like, even if it's campy or keep it simple, it's people are drawn to that, and
Yeah,
of course there's those that will dive in deep and go, the more they because I've always liked that where you got the simple songs and then all of a sudden you got, whoa, that shit's heavy,
yeah.
like I can feel something, but then and then you jump right back into some dancey fun thing. Like you need that emotional roller coaster with an album, I think, you know.
yeah,
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of need a break. Like,
yeah.
oh
And
God,
Catharsis has a
it's
few
heavy.
slower and more moody, atmospheric
Yeah.
things in it as well. The one song which is sort of buried deep in there is Meltdown, which might be worth mentioning because I pretty much mostly wrote Meltdown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely wrote the whole thing.
And so on April the 30th of 2023, I woke up and couldn't hear out of my right ear at all. I was completely deaf in my right ear.
Oh my
And I thought for to start with, maybe it's like blocked with something or whatever. So I went to the ER and they said, "Oh no, it's fine. We'll just give you something." And they started looking up on the internet, and it turned out that it wasn't that. It was a condition called SSHL, sudden sensorial hearing loss, which can be permanent.
Mm.
Um, and in about 30% of cases is permanent, and they don't really know why some are permanent and some are not permanent. So anyway, for turned out for 2 weeks I couldn't hear out of my right ear, and the the tinnitus was, if you imagine a nest of hornets living inside your head. I mean, to the point where if it continued like that, you would definitely kill yourself
Yeah.
because it was just impossible to deal with.
Yeah.
But anyway, I began to think that I wouldn't be able to do music again.
Yeah.
And I remember coming back and I'm like, I'm going to beat this freaking thing. And
Yeah.
I'm going to write a song even though I can't hear out of my right ear. I've got to do something. And I realized when you play it, like I usually write stuff on bass or guitar, and you play with your right, I'm right-handed, so you're strumming with your right hand. The sound's mostly coming out of this side of the instrument and into your right ear, a lot of it. And so the left ear is closer to your fretted hand, and I wasn't hearing it really well. It was really hard. It was became very difficult to even hear what I was playing, and that was horrible. Um, and so I called it Meltdown because it was a meltdown.
Yeah.
And I'm quite proud of the song. It's very simple musically. The structure is very simple, but it's quite powerful.
I love that song.
So scary.
Um,
We played it
yeah,
live all this year, last year on the Catharsis tour, and that's another one where I'm like, really, it's tough to sing because it's just so emotional. I can really connect to the pain that you were having,
yeah,
and that's one that you wrote where I was like, yes, I feel that because I was with you.
That's awesome.
So
yeah,
it's
Ooh,
a really good song though. I like that one. It's so epic.
it's so scary.
yeah. It's got an epic feel to it,
It's
and
very scary. By the way, he can hear now.
Yeah, yeah.
Just for
yeah,
those wondering, thank
yeah.
God.
I had some treatment which I'm not going to
Yes.
talk about because people will be squeamish
No, but
and
you should.
not
If this
enjoy hearing
happens
about it.
to you, go immediately to the ER.
But
Immediately.
but also
Yes.
you have to insist that they need to check you out for SSHL
Yes.
because people don't know that, and you need immediate steroid treatment.
Oh,
Yes.
If you don't get it, your chances of keeping your hearing are significantly reduced, and you have kind of hours.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. You have about 3 days.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Yeah.
but you need to be getting steroids on board within 24 hours.
So tell everybody that just in
yeah.
case.
Yeah,
That's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to clip this and put it out and go. Okay, everybody, make sure
Yeah.
you get your hearing
Yes.
checked. You know.
and
So you know.
it's more common than you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ironically and weirdly, I hung out with two other people in the days immediately preceding what happened who'd both had it.
Oh.
And then I started asking around, and it turned out that other people I knew had had it. So it's not as rare as you think. But I ended up playing, for some reason, decided to play that on a fretless bass. And I think it's the only song on the album that was played on fretless bass.
So we carried the fretless on tour for
Yeah,
that.
we just for that one. But it's the little intro section is played on a fretless bass, and I like it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
And what's
good.
your when you go into a song, what's your default instrument? Do you start with keys? Do you start with the beat? Do you start with bass? Tell me kind of your process on, okay, let's get in the studio. Let me start here. What's your usual instrument default?
It always used to be bass. Now it's whatever.
Okay.
Um,
You can play other stuff now.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
I don't know, it's whatever um seems to be the whatever it feels like is seems to be the thing to do on that day. I don't know. Um,
Mine's lyrics. That's all I got.
Right. Yeah.
So,
one very easy way to get started with a song. You just put down a beat. I work in Logic mostly now, so I just put
Okay.
down like boom, because so many of the songs in this, and your bass drum can do different things, but just to get a groove to get started, having like the bass on the one and the three and the snare on the two and the four,
boots
and
and cats
yeah,
and dumb shit.
so
Boots and
just get
cats.
that
Yep.
going, and
Boots and
if you're in
pants.
like a
Yeah.
energized mood, crank the BPM, and if you're not, and then just throw in some MIDI, um, and just figure out a chord pattern, and like how long is it going to stay in A minor, and how long is it going to switch to D, and is it going to go to F, or what else is it going to go to C, whatever else, or G, whatever else it's going to do. Get that chord pattern, like something to just have a bed upon which you can place other stuff,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and then loop it, and then get out whatever instrument takes your fancy. Play a bass line, play a guitar part, play a little keyboard part, um, and then just start building it up.
Oh yeah.
And then if you like it, loop it, and then maybe go for a drive with the loop
Yeah.
and start
Listen to the
going
stereo. Yeah.
Count Chocula. Could be great lyrics.
I love
He
that.
did not know the cultural significance because he's
Mhm.
British, so
It's like
I
what
thought that was cute.
what rhymes with chocula? What's a slant rhyme with chocula?
No,
Jocular.
glad you didn't do that.
No. Um, so you sort of, something
Like
like that.
jingles.
Yeah.
No.
Um, but I've been using the keyboard a lot more. I mean,
Mhm.
I kind
Yeah.
of play keyboards like I type.
Yeah.
I've gotten good at typing, but like if you asked me how to actually type I can't do this.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you can do a lot, and then if you use an arpeggiator, and then if you like what's this chord supposed to be? I mean, the good news is if you're not playing it live, you just look it up. And oh yeah, this like it's got A, C, and E. This is A minor, so just like play that, and off you go. I mean,
Right.
it's that's a good thing about having a kind of unlimited studio time, and it's just sort of fun to
Oh yeah.
explore a sound palette and go somewhere. You're just like you're digging in through some kind of sonic environment to see where you want to get to, and sometimes it's like you wind up at the end and you're like, bad music day,
Yeah.
or
Yes.
or you get halfway down and you're like, whoa, this is like, oh man, this is gonna
You're in
be
the
great.
zone. Yeah. Yep, I get that. And then what's your sort of lyric writing process? Does it just kind of come to you on a drive, in the shower, going for a walk? I mean, when you're just feeling the emotions. Tell me about, you know, writing songs, and then do you feel like you're kind of exercising it a little bit more where you're going, just let it come to me and then write it down? Because I know at times it's easy to go, oh, that's stupid. I'll just throw that away or whatever. Do you feel like you're kind of exercising your process?
Man, this is a tumultuous topic.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
Well,
don't mean to.
we have different
We've
styles.
Okay.
really, really worked hard
Yeah.
on working together on this.
Yeah.
Well, I have done a lot of poetry,
Okay.
and a lot of, I mean, I understand how to write a song structure as well.
Hmm.
So a lot of them I have just written in my phone if I'm
Okay.
feeling away, and I like to sometimes I just feel emotions and like the words paint the feeling for me.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like illustrative.
Hmm.
Sort of I did that in For Your Love, like
Yeah, your verse lyrics are great.
the
In that,
verse of
yeah.
For Your Love is a good example of that. It's just like it evokes emotion and feeling, even if it doesn't exactly mean the thing.
Hmm.
Anyway, but that's kind of how I write them. I use my emotion and then paint with the words because I'm like dead visual, so I can barely do anything without a visual in my head.
Right.
And I have to connect to every damn thing. And you have a very opposite way of doing things, which is,
Well, how would you describe it?
well, you've already described it. You jam. You basically jam and you
Yeah.
use the Da Vinci Code thing
Yep.
to like unlock
The
the
unlocking of the
yeah.
code of the yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
I would call it like a flow state. You're familiar with a flow state?
Hmm.
So like it depends if you're going to get in the mood for it, but once you get into that, it's almost like whatever those words emerge from who knows where, but they just kind of pop into your head and don't underestimate the power of the shower. I
Hmm.
mean,
Oh.
God, what's going on?
Yep.
Like,
yep,
if
Hmm.
you can't come up with something, go in the darn shower.
The
go in
damn
the
shower.
shower.
I
That's
Yeah,
because you don't have your fucking phone in there.
yeah. Or
notebook.
driving
I don't
and
know.
you.
Have a notebook and a pen there, and just jump out.
Yeah,
Even if you're dripping water everywhere,
yep.
write it
Oh
down.
yeah,
Don't
no,
let.
the bathroom floor is covered in water. Like you got to record it on the phone straight away. Um, but I find the car's good for like just looping ideas to get like whatever it's going to be with the with. Usually I'm like trying to get a hook first and
Mhm, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, so now we've kind of come up with this. This is brand new,
Hmm.
and I think it's gonna work. I think. So you will do your fire hose of ideas and the Da Vinci Code unlock thing. And come to me with like three ideas that you really love. And then I will be like, damn, I'm really feeling this one. Let's try out this path. And then I can like apply my own emotions upon that. And he doesn't mind if we change
Of
lyrics.
course.
That's what's
Of course.
great about him.
Hmm.
Um, and I'd care. So
Yeah.
it starts with his generation, and then I can like be a little architect or designer on top of
yeah, I
that.
mostly don't mind if we
Yeah,
jettison stuff in the early stage. If I've got something that I'm really think is good, then I'll be less. I want to hang on to it, but it usually doesn't happen at first. It usually takes a little while to settle in to be like, yeah, this is what the hook should be like this.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I get overwhelmed with like millions of ideas, so I like the idea of having like three little sacred spots where we try ideas.
Smart.
Right now, with one of our songs, I have one idea. I came up with it myself, so I'm happy about that.
you come up with lots of good ideas.
Thank you.
Um, but the other weird thing is like sometimes you'll work on a song and something will come up in the course of writing that song that is good but doesn't actually fit with that song.
Sure. Yeah. I understand that.
Um, so I mean it fits tonally and the chords are right, but the vibe isn't right for that song. But then it's like, but that's so good. It's
Right.
like then you have to like take those same chords and recreate a different
Yep.
version of that song or reimagine that chord structure and that melody in a totally different place.
Yeah.
And then you worry, well, is everybody going to listen to both versions and think, oh, these guys just like they only have one idea? But it's like when you have that great idea, it's like I can't throw this away.
Right.
It's too good.
It's tough.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you ever feel pressure to sound kind of a certain way because of the scene, or do you just try and kind of block that out?
Um, a little bit.
Hmm.
It's we
Really?
definitely say the words. People won't like that, but
Hmm.
it's not like a rule.
Right.
It's not like something we live by.
Right.
But I mean, you and I both enjoy seeing nice Spotify numbers, so it's tempting to be like, well, they're really liking hard industrial with a male vocal. Maybe I should just quit the band. Kidding, I'm kidding.
No, please
But
don't.
like, you don't want to go that far with
Right.
it.
Um,
But sometimes you can kind of consider what people are really liking, and I
Yeah.
don't know if you like it too. It's okay.
I'm not really sure about that. I think I mostly tried to write stuff that I thought would suit Stephanie's style because she was going to be singing it,
Hmm.
and it had to be authentic with what she was into. Um, that was my main kind of impetus for the musical direction.
Yeah, sure.
Um, Everything else I think in the musical direction that we've got is mostly due to the tools that are available to us.
Mm.
Um, More so than kind of writing to please a certain audience.
Of
I
course.
probably wouldn't have written music like this to start with, but then I kind of got into it.
Hmm.
I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you're a goth now.
but yeah, I'm still caught in this like goth versus
Yay, one of
industrial.
us, one of us.
Yeah, yeah.
You joined us.
No, I mean I have. Yeah, I mean back in the day, I know like The Cure and those bands before goth was really a thing, actually.
I know. Oh, you're so cool.
There you go. That's
The
wonderful.
OG.
No, I'm just old. That's
Tell me about the process of got the record, got the studio. How do you take that and translate it onto the stage? I mean, because I'm a big gearhead, so kind of how do you go, all right, let's kind of take this and now let's bring it to a live stage? And do you have, sound or like a visual, or are you like lighting? Tell me about that sort of process on taking everything that you now have in the studio and trying to put it onto the stage.
well, we did it. We tried it with the first album and ended up with a six-piece rock band, which didn't really work brilliantly.
Woohoo.
That was
Um,
a lot.
but we did find Bob through that
Yes,
process.
we did.
And Bob stuck with us, and we sort of had a reconfiguration. So I'm not really that much of a gearhead. You have to be a little bit of a gearhead in this game, but not. I mean, I'm pretty light on that. Bob plays guitar. He plays a lot of stuff. He plays bass and everything. Um, he's very much on top of all of that stuff,
He's the gearhead.
Mm.
Yeah.
and thank God for that. So, and he's probably pretty frustrated with me at first because I didn't even know what to plug in where, you know. Um, but I think we've figured out what we do on stage well enough now. But Bob is kind of the linchpin of all that, and he's got like, we have in-ear monitors and we have all this tech, and he's got like all of the transmitters lined up and in a box which is portable, and he's got all the effect stuff, and you know we work within when we're on stage, we're working within Bob's world.
Hmm.
When we're writing songs, we're working in our world.
That's
And
awesome.
Bob's helped with songwriting too, and he's contributed to the recordings as well. But very much we're in his world when it comes
Bobby's
to,
world.
yeah.
Bobby's World.
Um yeah.
There you
So,
go.
you know, we try to be, we're putting on the show and we're both singing, I'm playing bass, and we're trying to entertain you.
Mhm.
Um and trying to, not screw up. I mean, I don't mean little screw ups, but not like plug the wrong thing in and then spend like 20 minutes on stage trying to figure it out during the sound check, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we run the Able set, and Bob does all that for us and puts it all together.
excellent.
So we have all of our nice tracks, and it sounds really fucking great now. And I'm super pleased by that. Our next step I want is to set up a actual lighting to go with
Yeah, we
the
haven't done
Able
enough
set.
on lighting really yet, but
No.
lights are really complicated to move around with you. Ones that are
Yeah.
actually good. You can get ones that are they're a
Yeah.
little cheesy if you're not careful, little
Sure.
lasers and stuff like that. It's
Mm.
it's better to not have cheesy lights and rely on what the venue has, I think. But some point maybe we'll get like a light system that
Yeah.
we can take around.
That's my next goal. But we currently have synced video. I've made
Yeah,
lots of video.
yeah. The sync videos are really cool.
Yeah. So
Um, but I think our main focus in live is entertaining the crowd.
Hmm.
yes, we
Like,
move around a lot and interact, and I like to talk to people and throw things at them.
yeah, we don't just stand there. We're going to be active and moving around.
Yeah.
For sure.
Um,
For sure.
sometimes we go into the crowd, although it's kind of a little bit cheesy sometimes to do that. But yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff on stage, and we at Dark Castle Fest we had a huge stage. It was the biggest stage we've been on. It was
Yes.
great. It was like a tennis court,
It was
Whoa.
great.
and I was like, okay, now we can really make use of this space.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're running
So
around.
we were running around the whole place. Yeah, it was great, and we both have wireless mics,
Yeah.
and that gives a lot of ability to move around. And I have a wireless on my bass, so like, you gotta be super careful that it doesn't get a lot of interference or stuff because it can cut out. But it
Yeah.
is so nice to not have to worry about tripping over your cable, and I can go over to Bob and we can jam, and I can go and see Steve, and I can go see Stephanie, and I go to the front of the stage and lean over, or put my foot up on one of the monitors, or jump around and move around the stage a lot.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to be free of things that you're tethered to.
Sure. That's
One
awesome.
cool thing we're gonna do this year is we're speeding up almost all of our tracks.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just gonna be like a hardcore, hard dance experience now, like very fast dance of duality. That's
That's
fun.
Yeah, it's going to be like
Heck,
hand cramps for every song. Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's only I am the dark is the one. It's
So
just like repetitive stress injuries.
yeah, you gotta do hand yoga.
Yeah, yeah.
the stretches and oh
Yes,
yeah, do that, oh my gosh, yes, 100%.
exactly.
Do you play instruments? Sounds
I
like
do.
you're
I do
yeah.
keys and I do drums. I always kind of keep my keys right next to the bed just in case I get creative. I don't really have a studio space quite yet. I got three daughters, so they kind of take up most of the space. But
Mm.
usually if I'm kind of in the mood to record, or I got a drum set downstairs if I need to set up and do some live drumming. But most of it's all drum machine, and I'm a Reason guy. I've always Reason was my footstep, so it's like that's the one I'm comfortable with. That's the one I go through. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, my keyboard that I mostly use is smaller than that one. I mean, it's
Oh,
you can change the octaves on
oh
it,
yeah.
no problem. So, I mean, I'm not playing it like a 72 key piano anyway,
Oh
so
yeah.
it
Me
it's
neither.
it's got all of the potential. And then what I usually do, I'll play some keys, and my timing's not always perfect, so I'll just drop it into the MIDI, then I'll clean it up,
Yeah.
and then move a few notes around and like quantize it all, and might then add a little bit to it, and it's sort of bouncing between live playing and then getting the MIDI to line up with it, and that's usually kind of how I do that.
Yeah. I tried my most recent show, which was kind of like, I'm usually pretty busy now with the podcast and working, but I did a live show recently where I was like, okay, let me try and incorporate live drums and keys. So I'll play certain parts, and then I'm just keeping the beat, with the snare and the bass, and if I need that kind of situation, I can do that. But I was trying that for a while. I was like, okay, this is nice, but it's like, I don't think I'm quite there yet to get to the full
Yeah, I
extent.
think there's something that'll do live quantization, but we haven't gotten into. A friend of mine mentioned that, but I mean, I think once you're more comfortable with the instrument, playing it in tight and good time is
Yeah,
always becomes easier. So, like for live, I play bass because I'm just comfortable with it, and I feel like I can be tighter with it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it fills out the sound
That's
as
cool.
well.
Not a
Um,
lot of bands have a bass player anymore,
Yeah,
so that's
yeah,
cool. We
yeah.
have one.
yeah.
And he sings too.
No, I wouldn't call it singing,
Okay, we
but
call it vocalizing.
it's it's something.
It's something. No, I think, and I don't don't humble yourself too much, but like what you guys got going on like is amazing and it works. There is that great dynamic where there's the bass sound and her great just dark soulful singing, and it works. Like, don't beat yourself up too much, but it's wonderful. I like it, so I'll
That's
just say I'm
great.
a
Yeah.
Thank
fan.
you.
So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it's just nice to hear that somebody's listened to our tracks and enjoys them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you got to give it time to, because I think the scene, it's tough to kind of get in and try and get everybody to listen, but it's like just got to keep putting in the footwork, and and kind of what's your style? Are you kind of like, if it sounds good and it records well, put it out, or do you kind of go, let's put out a couple singles, then put out an album? that type of thing? Are you going, this sounds great, let's just put it out and just kind of keep this the plate spinning type situation?
I know what you want to do, but
Um, we a lot goes into a finished Amulet track,
Hmm.
so I don't think we're ever going to be in the mode of like pumping stuff out.
Yeah.
It yeah, but it would be. I mean, we the problem with songs is the problem with songs.
Yes.
They're easy to write
Yes.
in a way,
Hmm.
but to actually finish well
Yes.
is a whole different
I get that.
ball of
Yeah.
wax.
Yeah, for sure.
So we can write songs like, one after the other,
Yeah.
but taking it from that and finishing it
Hmm.
well is going to take more time. And I think we like to curate our material in a pretty detailed way. So
yeah. And I do mostly all of the visuals for it. And that's like a ton of work for each release.
yeah,
Tons of work. So I don't want to do that every month. It's too much.
and
Right.
I got more and more picky about the actual music.
So we're gonna do this album. We're
Mhm.
gonna probably put most of them out as singles,
Yeah.
as like a waterfall release.
Okay.
But we also have another single that we're working on as just a single.
Hmm.
So it,
Yeah,
it
well,
depends on the material.
we're going to be playing that new single live, but we haven't even quite worked out how, because we're both singing
Yeah,
it.
it's
We
not
haven't
done it.
quite worked out
It's not
exactly
done.
who's going to sing what yet.
Yeah.
But we'll get that. We have to get it figured out pretty soon because we're going to perform it on March 13th.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's depends what Chris wants to do. If he wants to do that as a single, we could do that.
Yeah.
But then we started writing another album already.
Yeah. You already have like 4 songs.
I got 5
5
songs,
songs for the one after the next one.
Yeah.
but then they're not finished
You cannot be
songs.
Sure.
stopped.
One of them is pretty
Yeah.
well along.
So we definitely still do albums.
Hmm.
That was yeah, but we're gonna
Smart.
try and do some more just standalone singles as well. And I feel like that fits the industrial genre better than albums. But
Yep.
yeah,
I get that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of the new thing now where it's like, you got to keep generating,
yeah,
people to come in. It's a weird thing where it used to just be put out an album and put out a couple singles or whatever, but now it's like you got to keep like laying out breadcrumbs and hoping, someone comes and, starts pecking at it. It's like you're trying to bring people in, and you just keep putting it out there, keep putting it out there. And, I don't think that says that it's a rushed process, but it's one of those where you kind of have to just keep bringing the people in, I guess,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Another thing that I think is worth mentioning is that I'd like to encourage people who are interested in doing something like this to explore it. I don't I don't think that I mean, Stephanie's got an amazing voice, and it's a bit hard to have an amazing voice if you don't have an amazing voice. But everybody can find a way to sing. I mean, look at me. I managed to do it, and I've got probably the worst voice you're going to come across. Um, but I mean, it's work like anything else. It's like learning a language or whatever. But I mean, literally, the things we do, everybody can learn to do. And all bands are kind of on a continuum between, Taylor Swift, I guess, is the biggest at the moment, and then, the garage band, which is barely, has never played a gig. Every band is on somewhere in that continuum. We're somewhere on that continuum. We got a few things done, but if you're interested in doing it, get a digital audio workstation, start learning some of those things. I'm still a horrible guitarist. If you listen to Catharsis, you'd be, oh, well, this guy can actually play guitar. Awful. If I go to a music store and pick up a guitar, I'll be like, there. Um, but still, if you listen to the album, you'd think, wow, it sounds like this guy's able to play. So, I mean, it's possible to do it if you want to do it. And there's so much good stuff about how to write songs online. I mean, it's the best age to be a musician right now. Like all the tools
Oh
to
yeah.
do this and to record good music are available to everybody,
Oh yeah.
and it's pretty cool. And we've had a lot of fun with it,
Oh yeah.
really.
100%.
yes.
And one last question, I'll let you guys go. I really appreciate your time. Do you feel like you're still discovering what Amulet can be, or do you have like a clear vision now? And how do you see Amulet being in the next 5 to 10 years?
I feel like I feel much clearer than we have before in the past, but I still think we're kind of defining it a little bit, especially with this next album. It's kind of helping us go in a direction. And a Daylight as like a branding manager, so I can feel the brand is
Mhm.
cohesive. So
Yeah, I can
I'm
see it too.
feeling,
Like I see the package, what you guys are
thank
putting
you.
out. Like it's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I want it to be a package,
Hmm.
and that does bother me that we have like very diverse songs because of that. But this new album, I feel it still represents the goth and the industrial without it being like two different bands.
Of course.
Yeah, it's more cohesive
Yeah.
musically, and that's thanks to Chris.
Yes. That was one of his goals with us, and I am very happy about that. So
Yeah,
I think we'll continue to go down that path. It feels good to me.
I
Cool.
enjoy playing live.
Yes.
Hmm.
Something always goes wrong with live shows, and it's
Oh,
always kind of a pain. There's
always.
always something. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
all of our shows have been pretty good. I mean, we haven't had anything go so wrong that it really screwed up.
Do not say
Um,
that now. Now we're cursed.
I know, touch wood, touch wood.
Knock on
But
wood somewhere. Yeah.
the more things that go wrong, the more you learn about things that could go wrong. I enjoy playing live shows, so I hope we keep playing live shows. And it'll just depend on how people like the next album and future releases. And I think you're right. It is, well, one of the great things about being a musician in this day and age is that you've got all the tools and it's really easy to put out pretty high quality music
Yeah.
um, without spending a lot of money to do that.
Mm.
The disadvantage for musicians is that everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
And there's just like so much choice. And so cutting through that
Yeah.
is quite difficult. And I think I don't know how everybody else feels, but it almost feels like you're just completely overwhelmed by new stuff, and the choices are just it's immeasurable.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a sense in that in which you just go back to what you know
Hmm.
and the things that are reliably you like and you know you're going to enjoy it. And so both of those things make it a little bit difficult for new bands. And then who knows what's going to happen with AI? If AI music just like from people all over the place floods Spotify, it might get harder and harder to even get noticed. Um, so I think there's like these factors going on, and it'll just sort of depend on whether people find and like our music and to the degree to which the band plays larger shows or goes somewhere. But in the meantime, if you're not having fun with it, you shouldn't do it, right?
Exactly. 100%.
So it continues to be fun, although I still struggle with my hearing a little bit after that thing, which has been a challenge. And you know, live shows and touring are it's definitely a lot of work.
Fun.
Um,
Yeah.
and particularly on tour when you find, some of the shows are great and you get a lot of people, and then some of them are on Tuesday night and, not too many people come out and it's like, eh.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think you just have to like treat that as a kind of dress rehearsal and
Oh
move
yeah.
on.
Playing for the sound guy. Yep. Been there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. But we also had a lot of great shows as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
and those are great. The Pittsburgh shows, people in Pittsburgh, that was
So welcome.
awesome. They just
Yeah.
bought so much
So
of our
welcome.
merch, and
Yeah.
they
They
seemed to
they're
really
so
like it.
sweet.
That was
Yeah.
nice. And then we played with Assemblage 23,
Ooh.
um, and that was
Yes.
that was a great fun show.
Great.
Tom is fun.
Fun.
He's a great person to talk with. Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Was
and
Mary
he did
there
nice
with him?
remix for us.
Mm.
Was Mary there with him? With
Yeah.
Tom?
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep,
It was good.
They're so great. They're so awesome.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That the place was packed, and I can't remember. It's like if all the shows blend together, it's like, was that the one where the in-ears went out? Was that the one where like the bass string broke? Was that the one where the
Oh.
microphone went flying or the microphone was dud? Or was that the one where the drummer fell off?
Yep.
I don't know, but I seem to remember that show mostly was pretty smooth.
Think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's always the good ones. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time. Yeah. You got your remix EP out. You got a couple shows coming out. Got the new album in the works. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what the future holds for Amulet.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, I hope you like the new stuff.
Oh,
And Yeah, thanks for
Problem.
those are great questions. Great
Thank you
questions.
so much for taking the time to be on it.
Conversation.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All
All right.
right. See
All right,
ya.
Bye.
see you.
Bye.